Hey everybody. Well, another day of filming. I wanted to show you a project that I have been working on. I wanted to do something that was really easy and quick to do. So let me just put my latest project in the works in front of you so you can see, and I'll just get all my threads out of the way. But you know, everybody lately is really getting into the autumnal kind of feel. The colors that we have here in the Rockies, it's very short-lived, but they're pretty spectacular. So I decided that I would get on the fall thing, and I love fringe. I really love fringe, as you could probably tell from some of my videos. So anyway, I want to show you how to do this. So this is just a diagonal peyote. I've used round beads here, and this is the basic method to do the little Russian leaves. And I don't have one on my board to show you, but trust me, this is how Russian leaves are done. And I just decided to make it bigger and longer to turn it into a necklace. And then I got from the Dollar Bead Box these little chains of what they call their autumn mix, their autumnal mix, and I absolutely love them. So I decided I would do my own version of the fringed fall style necklace, and I'm going to teach you how to do this part here with bigger beads this time. Yay! But I just want to say, this little flower thing here, I have been enamored with it since I first got it. It came in one of the bead boxes, and I can't remember, I think it might have even been my very first one. And ever since I saw it, I've been just enamored with it. So I thought I would use that as a hanging piece on my necklace. For this project, what did I use? So let's start with the materials that you'll require. Cutters. This is the thread I'm using on that current project, but I'm going to be using some bigger beads. So I will be using a 2.7 kilogram fire line in a smoke color. So that will be used today. What else have I got? I'm going to need my thread burner. I'm going to use a size 12 needle. Okay, so those are the tools for now. Let's get those out of the way. And then I'm going to show you for this project, I'll show you the bead colors that I used for this, if you're interested. My main color here. They're 11-0 Mayuki, and this is a galvanized Duracoat pewter. And then for the little drops on the end, I used same thing. It's a Mayuki 11-0, and this was galvanized Duracoat Muscat. Okay, to hang my fringing off of, I am using these little guys here. These are also Mayuki, and these are a 15-0, and this is metallic light bronze, and these I got from Bead FX. From my Dollar Bead Box, of course, I found these beads to be great for little things. They're very random, and that's what I like about this. So I'm using those, and then just find a little centerpiece. This is the only one that I got, and I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm actually going to go back online and see if they've got any more of these little flowers, because I love them. But you know, you could use this. Big focal piece there would be cool, and then or anything else that you like. You could put a dagger on that, you could put a crystal on that, whatever you wanted. And then for the button closure, I'm actually going to use these guys. This right here, that came from the Dollar Bead Box, so I'm going to use that as my closure. I think that's pretty cool. So I'll show you how to put that clasp on later, or as a clasp a little bit later on when we're ready to do that part. But for now, I'm going to show you how to do, as I said, this part right here. And I'm going to do that with much bigger beads than I did last time. Now these are delicas, and these are a size 8 delica. Now to do, this is a peyote stitch, by the way. This is diagonal peyote, and you're going to learn how to do that in this video. And typically peyote, I find, it works so much better with delicas. The way I'm doing the start of this project, it's actually easy to do rounds as well. All right, so let's get started. What I've done is I'm going to do 2 contrasting colors here just so you can really see what's happening, what I'm doing. And then I'm using these for the little outside parts. So I've started with my thread off my needle, my little size 11s there. Okay, so I'm going to start by picking up 3 of these guys on my thread. A little hard to do. So I'm just going to show you how to start this, by the way. I'm going to make a super mini necklace with this. I don't want to do a full one because I want to get on with showing you how the fringing's done, and I want this to be a short video. I keep intending to have really short videos, and they're all insanely long, and it just drives me a little bit crazy. Okay, so there's my 3. My 3 beads that I've started with. Let me just pull you in just a little bit closer here, and then I can see where to put all my stuff here. So I've just started with 3 beads. Whoops, there we go. And I've pulled those down to the center of my thread. All right, so now on each thread, and I'm gonna move my beads a little bit more so I can just make sure that I don't go out of frame when I do this, because it's so hard for me. And in fact, we probably don't even have to be that close for this now. Whoops. Okay, I think that's probably pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up a black bead on each thread. Okay, a black bead on each thread separately. Now I'll pick up a black bead on one thread. Whoops. These beads are so heavy. Okay, on one thread, and then I'm going to take my other thread and I'm going to run it up the same way, so both tails are pointing the same direction. Okay, and I'm going to bring those tails together, and I'm going to hold on to them, and I'm going to slide everything down to the bottom. And this is what you should have. So you should have the 3 beads on the bottom there, and then 2 beads side by side, and then another bead over top of them. All right, we're going to do that again. We'll pick up a bead on each thread. And then pick up another bead. Take my other string here, and I'm going to just put it through that bead, hold my ends together, and just slide everything down. And that's what you should have. So you'll have a set of beads sitting beside each other, one single one, 2 together, a single one. And let me show you that one last time. And then you can continue on your own with whatever size of beads you're using. And this, by the way, is yet another peyote start too. But I don't want to confuse you, so I'll talk about that in another video. Actually, it's going to be the next video after this. So, okay, and then my one bead and both threads are pointing in the same direction. And we pull. Okay. So do that 2 more times. On the last one, rather than using your single black bead there, we're going to actually pick up another one of these 11s here. All right. So, by the way, if you see my black fingernails, it's because I've been painting my deck, and I do a lot of work outside, and man, I can't get this stuff out. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna just put my my needle onto my thread here, and we'll start the next one. So just put your needle onto one side of the thread, and we should be good to go. I am coming out of that size 8. I'll pick up my silver bead, and I'm going to go into this black one right here. So you've seen this before on one of my other videos, and this is just peyote stitch now, okay? Every time you start a project, the first few rows will always be fiddly, always, okay? So I'm going to go into the next one after picking up the silver bead. And another one. Okay, so we'll put 5 on there. Okay, so I've got, so I put 5 beads on here, and now I'm going to come back up. But before I come up, I'm going to pick up this little gold bead here, my gold 8, or my brass 8, I mean, and I'm going to come up that silver bead right there, just like that. Then I'm going to pick up a black bead, and I'll go through that silver bead, or steel, or whatever color that one is. Okay, and I'm going to pick up another black one and go through the next. Another black one and go through the next. Another black one and go through the last steel or silver bead there. Okay, now what I have to do is I want to decrease on this end and increase on this end so I can build that sort of diagonal shape here. So in order for me to do that, I need to pick up one black, one of my size 8s, and one silver. Okay, I want to slide all of those down just like this. Now I've got these 3 beads are loose here. So what I want to do is I want to skip the silver bead, skip the size 8, and I'm going to go into that other loose black one. I'm going to put my fingers on everything, and I'm going to pull just like that. So excuse the fingers, and this is hard to get tight with these big beads. Okay, and I'm going to pull like that. Okay, so now I've got this. I've got my size 8, my silver bead, my black bead here. So going down, I'm going to pick up more silver. So I'm going to pick up a silver. I'm going to go into that black bead and pull. I'm going to pick up another silver, and I'm going to go into the black bead and pull. So that's 3 on. 1, 2, 3. I want 5 of these on. 4. Going into that black bead. And 5 going into that black bead. So once I've got my 5 beads on, it's time to come back up. And when I turn around, I want to pick up a brass bead. So to come back up, I'll pick up my brass bead, and I'm going to go through that silver one. There we go. So coming back up, I'm going to use my black beads. Okay, and we're going to come up through that silver bead and pull. Pick up another black. So that's 1, 2 beads on, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so there we have it. Now I know I'm back up at the top here, so I have to increase. But do you see how that diagonal is forming? It's kind of moving in a diagonal manner. Okay, so let's do this again. I'll do this one last time with you and then I'll show you how to do the other side. So I'll pick up a black, a size 8, and a silver. I'm going to slide all of those down. Remember, I want to skip the first 2 beads and go into that other loose bead right there, that black one right there. Okay, and I'm going to hold all of that tight with my thumb, pull it all in. Now, by the way, if your beads happen to land where, there we go. If it happens to land like this, where that brass bead is on the outside, don't worry about that. In fact, I'm going to purposely keep it there and show you how to fix it just in case. So don't mind my fingers and thumb, okay? I'm going to hold that so it stays in that position so you can see how to fix it. So going back down, I'm going to pick up a silver bead. We've got 1 already, so this is number 2. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you see how this is already kind of starting to correct itself, but I'm going to leave it there as though it stayed in that position. Okay, I'm just still going to hold on to that. So I need to pick up an 8 because we're coming back. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if this was still on that side like that, all I do is I just spin it, and then I put my number 5 bead in there, just like that. It doesn't matter if that spins around, it's fixable, okay? So let's just pretend that's as far as I wanted to go on this side. I take off my needle, I'm going to flip my project around, and then we'll put my needle on the other side. Needle on. All right, so the same thing, the same deal here. So I'm coming out of that 8 there, I'm going to pick up a silver, and I'm going to go into that black. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the very first one on this side, it's just like this side, you're not doing an increase, you're just simply doing a peyote stitch all the way down. But I'm coming back up, so I have to pick up my size 8. And I come up that silver. 1. And it's time for a black. 2. 3. 4. 5. Now we have to increase. So we're going to pick up a black, an 8, and a silver. So it's the same deal. Nothing's different on this side. It's the same thing. So we're going to go through that loose black bead there, skipping the first 2, holding everything with my thumb, and pulling. So you're going to probably start to see how these 2 are going to separate out into big strips away from each other, and that's how we get this sort of V pattern going right here. It's the same thing that I did on this project. So let's pretend now that I'm going to go back onto this side so it's easier for you to see that. So we'll just pretend we've got the length that we need. All right, we'll pretend this is the end of the bracelet. So in order for me to end off the bracelet like I had, or sorry, the necklace, I'm going to just kind of square it off like this, and I'm going to leave some thread in. All right, and that's just to give us room to put the clasp on when we're ready. So all I do here is I just stop doing any kind of an increase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my silver beads to go back down. So I'm going to go down with my silver beads. Okay, I'm not doing an increase. I'm just simply going to go down with my silver beads. 1, 2, 3, and actually it's just going to be 4 because we didn't do an increase up here. So we're going to come back up now, but we'll put on our, actually, you can put all of the black beads back up again if you want, but I'm going to use all of my 8s now. And there's no reason why. I'm just doing it as a decoration like I did on my other one, and you don't have to do this. But 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to just pull off my thread and leave it for now, finish off the other side. So that's how I finish that off. And then we'll be putting the clasp kind of up over in here when it's time to do that, and I'll show you on the other one. So I'm gonna show you how I put on my dangle here and how I got to where I'm coming out of this bead, because we're going to hang all of our dangles off of these beads here, these size 8s that I've got on there. Okay, I'm going to show you how I put my center dangle on. With this one, all I did was I went through that end bead there. And this is a very short piece of thread, I'm sorry, but so I went through a very short, I went through the center, and then I picked up a bead on either side. So I'll pick one up on this side as well. I actually put 2 needles on. Okay, so I put an extra bead on both sides. And then I just picked up a bunch of beads. So I'll pick up 1 8, and then let's just do, I'm just going to do 3 of those 11s, and then an 8. And then you could put another decorative piece, another decorative bead on there, or whatever you wanted to do. And then on this side, I actually did the exact same thing. So I put my thread through those same beads. So I put both pieces through, just like that. And then the other thing I also did was I put both threads through that guy. Just like that. Just pull that. So there's the dangle there, like that. And then I took another bead and I put my left one through, and this time I'm crossing through these beads. So one's going left to right, one's going right to left. And I am just going to pull. And that's what we have. And so that's how I got that dangle on there. And then both of these I came up. So I'll just do it on this side. So I skipped this bead then, and I just went straight through this one. Okay. My thread's pretty short, so this might be a challenge for me. And then what I did was I traveled up through all of these beads here. Okay, including the one that I put on. Okay, and so now what I did is I went through this bead, that side, and this thread when it comes up would go through that bead the opposite way. So I came up here, and then I went up through this bead, like that. Okay, so you see there's those 2 black beads there, side by side, and one in the middle. So now I took my thread up that one in the middle, like that. And then the silver bead beside it, I went straight down that. And then out the bottom of this bead, the size 8, and then I'm ready to put on my dangles. So I've got this side, quite a few on, I'm not done, I'll still fill it up some more. But what I've decided to do with this one is just put my dangles on the edge. If I really wanted to make this really full, I could also hang dangles off of these beads in here. So I could make it very, very full if I wanted to do that. But I think I'm gonna leave this just like that. Okay, so like in my large sample piece, I'm now coming out of this bead right here, ready to go. And what I've done with these, with all of these, is for the most part, they're all going to be hung on the end the same. The only difference is the leaf one. And the reason why is because the leaf ones are a horizontal drill, where everything else more or less is straight through. And those are the easy ones to do. All right, so I'm gonna start with that one first. And I'm going to pick up 4 size 15s. Okay, 4 15s on my needle. And I've been doing this consistently, with the exception of a few here and there. When I felt I needed more room, I'd maybe add 5 or whatever. So I got my 4 15s on. And then I'm going to put my little fish on here. And I've been going through the top of the fish, just so he hangs the right way up, but it doesn't matter, however you want to do it. So there's that. And then I'm going to pick up 1 size 11, which is the same 11s that's on here. And I'm going to add that on. I'm not even going to bother with it so much, but I'm going to come back up these beads through all of those 15s and then through that brassy goldy color 11. That's on there. And I'm going to just pull. Really easy to do these dangles. There we go. Easy enough. Easy peasy. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to come up the bead that's kind of directly above that brass bead there. And I'm going to just pull. Okay, and now I'm going to go up this bead right here and the next one above it on a diagonal, and let me get that through there and then I'll just show you. Okay, so my needle is coming out of those 2 beads. Might be a bit hard to see, but those 2 beads right there on the diagonal. Okay, so I'm coming out of this bead above my brass bead or my gold bead. So I went through the gold and up this brass one, pulled through there, and now I've moved my needle so just off to the diagonal of that one over here, and I've gone through 2 beads. All right. And you know, it will make sense to you once you start doing this on your own. It really will. Because what I need to do is turn around to come out of this gold bead here, right? So I'm coming out of this bead right there. And I want to go to the bead beside it so I can go through that bead and the gold bead or brass bead or whatever color that is below it. All right. You can rewind this as many times as you need. I'm not going to redo that for you. And so do that as much as you like all the way up the side. Okay, so get all your dangles on. Meet me back and I'll show you how to put the clasp on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on 2 of my gold beads, 1 of my steel beads, and I'll take 2 more of these. I'll add my button. And now I'm going to take 3 of my 15s. And just like we did with the fringe, I'm going to come back down this button. And I come down those first 2 brass beads as well as my steel. Hold everything tight and pull tight. I didn't leave myself quite enough thread here, but that's okay. I can work with it. And now I'm going to pick up another 2 of these guys right there. And now I'm going to come back down this bead and actually that one beside it as well. we go. And so that's my clasp on. Now I do want to reinforce this a few times. Actually, my thread's a bit too short to try and reinforce right now. So I might just come back with another thread later on and just kind of run it through. So maybe what I'll do is I will just show you how I'm going to tie it off. There we go. Let's just tie that off, making sure it goes between the beads. I've got quite the shadow going on here now, so I might be able to just turn off my lamp because I think I don't need it any longer. I'm just going to kind of weave my way around these beads a little bit. That'll probably do it right there. I'll get my cutter. Cut that off nice and close. All right, so I'm going to thread up the next side here, and then we'll create a loop for this. So we'll pick up 2 gold, 1 steel, and then these I'm going to put on about, let's see, I want enough to go around this this little button thing here. So okay, and that's 26. Let's see if that just might work there. Yeah, I think that'll work. That should work just fine. I'm going to come back down through this steel bead now, just the steel bead, and hold that tight, pull everything tight, and then I'll pick up 2 more of my gold or brass or whatever they are and go back down here. There we go. And then I'm going to come back and reinforce that. So I'm just kind of snaking my way through these beads. I'm just going to find a way to snake around my project so I'm not leaving any thread showing. And there we go. Now, one thing I have the opportunity to do, if I wish, is I can peyote stitch this loop I've got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm coming out of that gray button. I'm going to go through the first bead on my row. So I'm coming out of that very first bead. I'm going to pick up a 15. I'm going to skip the second bead and go into the third bead on the row on that circle. And pull. And you can see they'll sit side by side there. I'll pick up another 15. So I'm coming out of this bead. I'm going to skip the next bead and go into the next bead after that. So always picking a bead up, skipping a bead, and going into the next bead after the one that's been skipped. I'll pick up a 15. I'm coming out of this bead. I'm going to skip the next one and go into the next one after that. All right, so I'm going to do that all the way around my little circle, and then I will show you what to do next. All right, so I've made it all the way around, and I have come through, and I've got 1 bead left here. I probably just kind of miscalculated everything, but that's all right. I'm just going to fit that over top again, make sure that it's still going to fit, and yes, it is. All right, so let me just finish this off. That peyote stitch there has reinforced everything for me quite nicely. So I'm going to go and tie this off, cut my thread, and then I'll put the necklace out so we can have a look at it. All right, well, there it is. That is my, I think I'll call this the Autumnal tumbler. So that's it. It's a pretty easy project to do, and it actually works up quite quickly, even this diagonal peyote. So go have fun. The next video I'm going to be doing, I will be doing a small series on doing peyote, some different starts. I'm going to do a small peyote project, and I also have to answer a question that that a beginner beader had asked me, and it was a really, really good question. Normally I would just kind of wait until I can do some sort of a Q&A, but I thought that her question was so important that I'm not going to wait. I really, really want to answer this question right away. Hopefully you enjoyed this project. I hope that you were able to follow this, and I really hope it was really easy. I will see you on the next video. If you like my videos, please subscribe and please give me a like. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.